Welcome back into the film room. I'm your host, Eric Turner. Today we're going to take a look at the coaches' film from the Dolphins and Bills game, a 35-0 trouncing of the division rivals of the Bills. And I want to stay on this defensive side of the ball because the Bills just dominated in that regard. I mean, yes, the Dolphins' offensive line is not that good, but you got to give credit where credit is due. The Bills did a great job of disguising coverages on the backside, whether that was from zone to man, man to zone, one high to two high. They confused the quarterbacks of the Miami Dolphins. They took away the first reads and forced those quarterbacks to work through progressions and to work down the field play by play, which is very difficult to do once Brissett, the backup quarterback, got in the game. So they disguised those coverages really well. They got the quarterbacks to hold on to the ball. And that's when the pass rushers were able to beat their one-on-one matchups and win. And they won often. They pressured Tua 67% of the time. They pressured Brissett 60% of the time. So they were collapsing the pocket all day. Speed to power, power to speed. I mean, they were everywhere. In this video, we're going to focus on three players: AJ Epinesa, Gregory Rousseau, and Taryn Johnson. But you're going to see some of the other names and players pop up in the film as we go through it. I think Epinesa's speed and burst are just such a good complement to his power game. We all know he has that long arm and that power, that ability to drive a tackle into the lap of the quarterback. But his ability to win the outside hit is just a perfect complement, because now when he fakes that rush inside, he can get back outside and force that tackle to shoot his hands, and now he can beat it with his hand usage, something that has always been there. So his speed and burst are definitely great complements to his game. With Gregory Rousseau, it's always about his length and how he uses it, but I thought in this game he did that well. He transitioned speed to power and was able to collapse the pocket from his edge position. But as you will see in some of these clips, I thought his awareness and his knack for finishing and keeping an eye on the ball when those quarterbacks look to escape the pocket, kind of like what we saw last year in the AFC Championship game with Mahomes. Rousseau's that guy. He's the guy that can finish these reps. He drops into the underneath areas and some creeper pressures. He's a rat defender on other plays. And he was just able to finish these plays and put an end to these plays on third down. And that's something the Bills need on their defense. And finally, Taran Johnson. I swear, this guy was always around the ball when the Bills needed to play on critical downs. You heard Leslie Frazier talk highly of him in his press conference after the game. And I thought that he played big like he normally does. You know, he had some big hits, some nice tackles. But I think one thing that we don't talk about is his mental toughness. His ability to make that big play on third down, on fourth down, to make plays when the Bills defense need him to. When they need to get off the field, I swear it's Taran Johnson the last, 10 games or so that has made those plays for the Bills. And in a contract year, it's going to be exciting to watch him all out again like he has the first 2 weeks. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the film. Let's get into some Epinesa film. First quarter, 4th and 1 situation. Big hit on Tua by Epinesa, sends him out of the game. But let's take a look at the coverage and then how the pressure plays into that. They played some very good complementary football when you talk about the secondary, the coverage, and the pass rush. So to the bottom of the screen, 3-by-1 set, tight end on the line of scrimmage, and the Bills are playing with zone eyes. You see Taran Johnson with his eyes off the snap, looking at Tua, reading Tua, his body language, and more importantly, the depth of his drop. Watch as this play progresses. Watch how he plants as Tua hits the top of the drop. He knows 4th and 1. He's got a rusher coming down right on him right now in Epinesa. He knows that the ball is going to have to be thrown soon. So Taran's already breaking on the ball. He never even looked at the wide receiver. Showed man coverage initially, disguised it well. Really playing with vision here, as is Levi Wallace and Tremaine Edmonds. Pressure's coming by Epinesa, and a big hit by Epinesa sends the ball incomplete and behind the wide receiver. So let's look at this from the end zone angle. 4-man rush. You'll see Milano kind of mug the gap, B gap right there, and show like he's blitzing, but he ends up peeling off with the running back. But watch what happens on the snap. The right tackle is laid off the ball. You see the snap by Dieter there. Zimmer's already off the ball, and Evan Epinesa is a little tad late here, but his quickness off the ball has been so much more noticeable this year. And so when the offensive tackle is laid off the ball, what does he have to do? He has to try to make contact and punch out way earlier and way sooner than he wants to. So he jump sets and tries punching Epinesa there, but Epinesa sees it coming, is already up the field and by the offensive tackle, shrinks his surface area, dips right under that punch, and is able to get a big hit on the quarterback Tua here. But the best part about this is not necessarily the injury, but how he runs through the quarterback. He doesn't let up. He runs through the quarterback, and that is what punishes Tua and ends up sending him out of the game on 4th down. All right, 1st and 10 situation here. 12 personnel by the Dolphins. They try running Gaskin up the middle, but I want you to watch the processing, the aggressiveness by the Bills defense, and really just all-around good gap integrity. So watch Ed Oliver at nose tackle, Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano, and then Epinesa. So at the point of attack, you see Epinesa on a tight end, and he does a great job of stacking on this play, and he does what we call a press and peek. So he bench presses this guy, he bench presses the tight end, and then he peeks right here to force the cutback by the running back. And the running back wants to get back up inside here, but you could see all of the eyes, all of the helmets in their gaps. You see Edmonds fire downhill. Here comes that sift block, that insert block by the tight end. Look at how Edmonds is aggressive and does not stay blocked, is still trying to get to the ball and still hunting on the play. You see the slippery Matt Milano slide inside here for the tackle, and just really good run stopping at the point of attack. Ed Oliver taking on that combination block, holding his ground at his weight is just phenomenal. So good all-around defense by Epinesa and the Bills. All right, towards the end of the first quarter, 2nd and 10 situation, Bills up 14-0. This is Levi Wallace's interception. But again, let's point out not just Epinesa's pressure and power rush here, but really how the coverage on the back end helped out. So you see the Finns try to run a little swing screen. They showed this earlier in the game, and they threw it to the top of the screen earlier in the game against Trey White. So this time, instead of throwing the swing screen to the bottom, what they're going to do is they're going to have the tight end who's in the slot, Gesicki, fake like he's going to block, and then wheel up the sideline. So a skinny post and wheel route against this 3 deep, 3 under, cover 3 defense. So what happens on this play is Brissett pump fakes it, and it gets Jordan Poyer to come down and leverage that screen. Bills are really good at leveraging screens, and you see Poyer bite on that. He admitted, hey, I bit on the screen on this play, but you see the communication right there. He lets his teammates know that Gesicki had just released, and if you watch Levi Wallace, all he's doing is bailing from the line of scrimmage, bailing deep, playing his thirds, eyes on the quarterback, reading the depth of the drop, reading the route combination that the Finns are throwing at him, and he remains patient. He stays tight to that skinny post by the number 1 receiver, and then as soon as Brissett lets it go, he peels off, plays with great vision, and catches the ball for the interception. Levi Wallace had a great game before exiting. As you heard me talk about, this is a 3 deep, 3 under, 5-man pressure from the Bills. So it's still zone defense, but the Bills are sending 5 rushers. That 5th rusher is Taran Johnson off the edge. So on the snap, what they're trying to do is get Epinesa to slant inside and get one-on-one with the guard, and hopefully opening things up for Taran. But it's Epinesa that wins this rep. He gets one-on-one with the guard, goes right to power, and then bull rushes that big guy right into the lap of Jacoby Brissett. Brissett's not able to step into that throw. He sails it a little bit, and that's why Levi Wallace is able to make a break on the ball and intercept the ball. So really good complementary defense between the secondary and the pass rush up front. All right, 1st and 10 situation, 3:21 on the clock towards the end of the 2nd quarter. Another play where the Bills' coverage is fantastic. On this play, they show man-to-man between Trey White and Mike Gesicki in the bottom, and they're basically playing Palms coverage, reading 2-to-1. So with this receiver to the bottom of the screen eliminated, now they just read 2-to-1 between Taran Johnson, Poyer, and Tremaine Edmonds. If that guy, the number 2 right here, runs any type of short in or out breaking route, you're going to see Tremaine Edmonds carry him just like he does on this play. Same thing to the top of the screen with Milano. But really good coverage. And you see Brissett is looking deep. He's looking to this slot fade. But Taran Johnson is in a great bail technique. Good eye discipline. Looking right at Brissett. And, of course, he's got safety help inside. So he's got really good leverage on that slot fade. Brissett ends up pulling it down. Is under duress a little bit, but is able to break contain and get up the field. This was just a really good rep from Hughes, Lotulelei, and Epinesa. Watch the power by Starr up the middle. If the Bills can get this type of disruption from him in the passing game, something that we haven't seen in many years, this is really going to help the defense as the year progresses, especially up the middle. You want to get a QB off the spot. You want to affect a QB. Up the middle pressure is the way to go. Watch the power move by Lotulelei, and he eventually draws the hold on this play. But look at how the Bills are in their rush lanes, and they push the pocket right into the lap of Brissett. You see Hughes turn the corner and flatten to the quarterback. as does Epinesa, but Epinesa really had to go to a secondary move on this play because Jackson does a good job of deflecting the double-handed swipe and getting his body in front of Epinesa, but his hips are open a little bit. And Epinesa is reading the quarterback's drop, and as soon as he sees Brissett hit the top and then look to step up in the pocket, he throws Jackson by, uses a little arm over, and again, the pocket's collapsing on Brissett. But he's able to escape, but right there is when the hold on Star is called, and the Bills catch a break here on this pressure, but really good pressure from 4 pass rushers, especially up the middle from Star Latuile and AJ Epinesa. 2nd and 10 situation, 1:33 on the clock. The Bills are up 14-0. Prior to the snap, they're showing a too-high safety look, but post-snap, they're going to rush Matt Milano, drop Jerry Hughes into the hook to curl area, but still remain in cover 3. So they drop to cover 3 with Hughes as a hook to curl defender. They send Milano at the quarterback, something they did several times this game. I believe it was 10 times per Pro Football Focus. He's up to 20, I think, for the season already. And he gets a matchup with the running back and is able to flush Brissett out of the pocket. And Epinesa does get a hit on Brissett, but simple cover 3 versus this 3-by-1 look. But the coverage is good enough, and there's enough pressure where Brissett can't just hold on to the ball and look to make a play down the field because of the pressure. He's not able to. You see Epinesa flatten to the quarterback and get a hit on the quarterback as the ball goes incomplete. So here it is from the end zone angle. Again, it's a creeper pressure, so their Bills are still sending 4. They are not blitzing, but they are attacking the protection. And they attacked with Milano most of the day, got Milano matched up versus running back for a majority of the day. I will say Myles Gaskin, the running back for the Dolphins, did a really good job on this block, but it still affects the quarterback. It still takes Brissett off the spot. So here's the pressure from Milano. You see him try to sidestep him and take this angle right here. Well, now Epinesa's reading that. He knows that the quarterback's likely going to step up in the pocket, so he flattens to the quarterback and gets a hit on Brissett. Great job of attacking the protections of the Dolphins, finding the advantageous matchups of Milano versus running backs, and really just getting the quarterback off the spot to help the coverage on the back end. 2nd and 10 situation, Bills are up 28-0, top of the 4th quarter. And you can see at the line of scrimmage, all of the corners and secondary players by the Bills, they're showing man coverage, possibly a 1 or 2 high safety look. You don't really know until post-snap. But the Bills make it look like they're in man coverage, and they are. But watch what they do to the bottom of the screen real quick. You see Gesicki in the slot. He's matched up with Milano in man coverage, but you see Trey White take inside leverage and get into a trail technique with the #1 receiver to the bottom. But look at him peek back right there. If Gesicki were to run an out pattern right there, you're going to see Trey White trap it right there. So really good coverage by Leslie Frazier, the Bills defensive coordinator. He would trap that out route by Gesicki, and then the safety would roll over the top to the #1. The Bills take away the primary target right here, and the pressure is able to get home. Epinesa disrupts the quarterback, and Zimmer cleans up. So watch the multiple twists that you see on this play, but pay attention to Epinesa and Zimmer. Watch how Epinesa attacks up the field, but then crashes inside versus Jackson. And he is able to affect the quarterback right there. Force him to slide his left. Force him to come off his primary read, his primary target. And he tries rolling back to his left and dumping it down to the check down. But Zimmer is right there to clean up. So really good team defense by the Bills. You saw multiple twists, multiple games, multiple ways of attacking the pass protections of the Dolphins. Eric Washington and Leslie Frazier did a great job of attacking the Dolphins' protections all day. And then, of course, the players were the ones to execute it to the fullest. And specifically on this play, it was Epinesa as the disruptor and then Zimmer as the looper to bring Jacoby Brissett down for another sack. Still in the 4th quarter, Bills are up 28-0, 3rd and 20 situation. On this play, you're going to see the Bills line up 3 to the right side of the formation and leave Epinesa isolated. Usually this is an alert to the offensive line. Some type of game between these 3 players on the right is about to unfold. And you see Groot kind of bounce inside right here, and he does get the sack here, but it's Epinesa's pressure that really is the driving force on this play. So watch Epinesa one-on-one with Jackson again, and the double-handed swat right there gets the outside edge. Speed up the field, burst up the field, double-handed swat, gets the edge. Unfortunately, Epinesa goes a little too high on the big quarterback, and he's not able to bring him down. But that flusters Brissett, and then watch the feeling and the awareness by Groot right here. He slants inside. Watch him slowly continue the slide to the offense's left right there. He senses that there is some type of void over here that Brissett could find and escape the pocket after he breaks the tackle of Epinesa. And as he does that, you see Groot contain right there, keep Brissett inside, then he disengages and makes the tackle. Just great work by Epinesa being disruptive, winning his one-on-one, and then allowing Groot to clean up on this sack. Something that we heard a lot of about Rousseau coming out of college, coming out of the University of Miami. But these are the type of plays that the Bills need to execute. They need to be disruptive. They need to affect the quarterback. But most importantly, they have to finish plays and bring the quarterback down for sacks. All right, this is a perfect time to switch over to Gregory Rousseau's film. Bills are up 14-0, 3rd and 4 situation. And you see the Bills play man coverage versus this mesh concept from the Dolphins. Do a really good job in coverage. So on the snap, they're going to send Milano up the middle on a little twist between him and the nose tackle and drop Groot into the underneath area, walling off any receivers coming across the middle, but really getting his eyes and becoming the rat defender in the middle of the field, watching the quarterback. And as the quarterback looks to escape the pocket, he is able to close on Brissett and make the tackle. So the Bills call this their Cub Front. It's an odd front, nose tackle right there, Hughes in a 4-eye, Oliver in a 4-eye. Edge defenders are Greg Rousseau in a 2-point and Edmonds right there. But this play, they're going to slant the nose tackle into this A-gap and then loop around Matt Milano. So it's an interior game between the nose tackle and Matt Milano, one of the better pass rushers on the Bills defense. And Milano gets the quarterback off the spot here, does a great job of shooting the gap, working through the block of the offensive lineman and forcing Brissett to slide to his right. Hughes is the second wave of defenders right there. And Brissett is looking to get rid of the ball. There's really no one open, though. You see the Bills did a great job of covering down in man coverage versus the Dolphins receivers. So Brissett looks to escape the pocket. But now look at Rousseau. He drops into that underneath area, disrupts some of those pass routes. But then now he's getting his eyes on the quarterback. And as that quarterback looks to escape, this is what Rousseau is really good at. He is good at containing and really knowing where the quarterback is looking to escape the pocket. He knows that most of that pressure is forcing Brissett up into the pocket, and he wants to escape out that way. Look how Rousseau gets his eyes on him and then closes. Look at the closing speed by Rousseau to end this play for the sack. Just ends it. Does not give him a chance. Wraps those legs up, gets his big frame on those legs, and then just rolls on Brissett for the sack. So great work by the Bills of attacking the protections with Milano. The second wave with Hughes coming through, getting the quarterback off the spot, and then Rousseau of finishing. That's what the Bills need from their edge rushers. Let's sprinkle in a little run defense from Rousseau here. First quarter, 1st and 10 situation. 3:51 on the clock. So watch it from this angle. Bills are mugging the A-gaps. On the snap, Rousseau shoots upfield on this wide zone run. So this running back is going to push outside here and then try to get right up into this gap. You see Rousseau beat the hands of the tackle and then plant and redirect up the field into the gap where the running back is going to cut and then use his length to wrap up the running back. Great work by Rousseau, beating the hands of the tackle and then working back up into the gap, back into the area where the running back is looking to hit to get upfield, and then a good tackle, a wrapping up at the end. Here's another disruptive play from Rousseau on the left-hand side here. The Dolphins sell run here, so Rousseau has to process run the pass. He gets a down block by the tackle, and he sees the pulling guard come in to kick him out. So he's thinking it's a run. But you see as the quarterback pulls it here, watch how Rousseau uses his length to avoid the block, to get leverage right there. I mean, it's perfect hand placement. Keep that guy at arm's length, get that soft edge, and he ends up in the lap of Brissett, but Brissett is able to extend the play and ultimately make a throw down the field that probably should have been caught, but very good rush from Rousseau on this play. Processing run the pass, avoiding the block, keeping the soft edge using his length, and then getting pressure on the quarterback at forcing him to play above the scheme, and the ball bounces in the Bills' direction on this incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 situation, 1:49 on the clock. Bills up 14-0. We're in the second quarter. So the Bills disguise this coverage against the 3-by-1 set, And on the snap, you're just going to see Taran Johnson get under this slant route by the number 2. And Edmonds as well. He's going to gain some depth and take away that little route over the middle that Brissett wants to throw it to. Brissett can't throw it to the number 1 out here because he's got a corner squatting on that as well. And it leads to a pressure from Gregory Rousseau at the top of the screen. He works through a tight end and a running back to force Brissett to his left out of the pocket. And you see Matt Milano come downhill and make the tackle. So the Bills have 7 guys up near the line of scrimmage showing pressure, but eventually just drop out into a zone coverage, into a Tampa 2. But watch Rousseau right here versus the tight end, and then you're going to have a little help right here from the running back. So basically, Rousseau versus 2 blockers, a tight end and a running back. He just does a good job of getting into the tight end and power rushing him, collapsing the width of that pocket, bringing him down into the lap of the quarterback. Brissett feels it, and again, pulls his eyes down and looks to escape out this way. Just really good work and tenacity from Gregory Rousseau. You'd like to see him make that tackle, maybe take another stride to make that tackle, but he misses it. But luckily for the Bills, Matt Milano's there to end the play. 4th down and 3 call here by the Dolphins late in the 4th quarter. Watch the power rush by Rousseau versus Eichenberg. Just really takes him to the woodshed, makes his knees buckle. You see him transition from speed to power. Then watch the hand usage. He gets his hands on Eichenberg. You see Eichenberg look to anchor down as power comes from the big Rousseau. But then watch the outside hand. As Eichenberg is looking to sit down, watch the arm lift right there. And that throws Eichenberg off balance. And then you see Rousseau drive him back onto the turf. Unfortunately for the Bills, Brissett is able to pull it down, escape the pocket, and make a throw to the running back. But he drops it on 4th down. So everything was going the Bills' way on this, but you can't ignore the power and tenacity of Gregory Rousseau. You've seen the film cut-ups from this game. There's a reason why he was quite possibly the best defender on the Bills in this game. If there's one guy that could rival Epinesa and Rousseau as players of the game on the defensive side of the ball, it's Taran Johnson to the top of the screen. Here's the first play of the game. The Bills did a good job when Tua was in there of taking away his first read, getting him to hold on to the ball like he does here. Post-snap, they drop down the safety right there to take away inside leverage on the number 1 receiver to the top of the screen. You see the corner has outside leverage, so that guy's bracketed really well, and that's where Tua wants to go on the quick pass off of play action. He's taken away. That allows Johnson to get home on Tua. And you can see the Dolphins have 12 personnel out there. This is an adjustment the Bills made last year halfway through the season. Is no more big nickel. They're leaving Taran Johnson in there. They like his physicality. They like his mental toughness and ability versus the run, and adding plays, splash plays on the back end of the secondary. Watch his play here. You see him kind of stop and wait after the play action right there. He waits to make sure that Tua doesn't look to escape the pocket. And then once Tua moves on to his second read, now he has a green light to attack the quarterback. He does, and he lays a good hit on Tua. 9:58 on the clock, 2nd quarter. 3rd and 6 situation. Bills up 14-0. And I talked about it. Taran Johnson just makes big plays when they're needed. 3rd down call in the red zone. Dolphins send out a quads look to the bottom of the screen. You see Johnson in the slot to the bottom. He does a great job of remaining patient on this. You see the route concept, the route combination that they're trying to throw at him. Look at the discipline he shows on this play. Holds his ground. He sees Gesicki going vertical. He knows that's not his guy. It's a Tampa 2 look. He spaces these 3 routes beautifully. As this receiver shoots outside and then back over the middle and aims for the chains, Johnson is right there, sitting right at the chains to break on the ball, to wrap the arms of that guy so he can't reach out to make the first down, and he's able to strip the ball out, and Milano's able to recover. Fantastic discipline by Taran Johnson on this play, spacing the routes beautifully, playing the chains, and making a play when the Bills needed it. This was a huge play for the Bills defense. Here's the end zone angle. Watch the pressure by Star Latulele, the 2-eye right there. Look at the quick win versus the guard. Guard's being aggressive. He swims him and then gets pressure on Brissett. Brissett has to get rid of it, and that's when Taran Johnson is able to make a play on the ball. You see Milano flying over the top of the pile and then recovering the fumble. 3rd quarter, 4:05 on the clock. Bills are winning 21-0. 4th down and 2, and here's another big play from Taran Johnson. So prior to the snap, the Bills are showing man coverage against this 3-by-1 set. You see everyone up near the line of scrimmage, but they eventually just drop out into a Tampa 2 look, play some zone coverage, play the sticks, but watch Taran Johnson's eyes, watch the eye discipline, and then the big hit on the receiver on this shallow cross concept. So again, spaces that route concept very smoothly, very easily. And here comes a shallow cross over the middle right there. And Taran Johnson sees it the entire way. He wants Brissett to throw that. And as soon as he does, he breaks on it, gets downhill, and separates the receiver from the ball, forcing a turnover on down. Just really good coverage and discipline from Taran Johnson, and a great job of making a play when the Bills defense needed it. Seemed like he was around the ball on every critical play against the Dolphins on Sunday. Thanks for joining me in the film room. That was a fun breakdown of the Bills defense versus the Miami Dolphins. A big divisional win, a big first win of the season, and the Bills defense just looks great to start the season, and even going through the preseason, they looked fantastic. And right now they're carrying the Bills offense, and that's okay. That's okay to have the offense struggling just a little bit, working out some of the kinks of the offseason and how defenses are adjusting to them. It's nice to have a defense carrying the team right now, and they're going to need it throughout the season. The defense is going to have to pick up the offense at times, and then the offense is going to have to pick up the defense at times, and even special teams will have to pitch in at times. So it's complementary football, and you saw that in the film breakdown. Coverage can help the defensive line. The defensive line can help the coverage. They all play hand in hand, and they're all important in their own ways. And the Bills won because of that complementary defense. So again, thanks for joining me in the film room. We will see you next week.